As people like to say, don't fret, my pet. We are here. We're in the clear. And sometimes I like to drink beer. I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. That's what my dad would say. But at any rate, we are here live and ready to go. And I'm very excited to be here and kind of back in the driver's seat, so to speak, when it comes to Facebook Live, because I actually had been very successful in threatening people on Facebook with something that I posted that they deemed me as you can't go live anymore, nor can you advertise, and we're going to limit and restrict your account. And so I have to, if this shows up as Adrian Kunze, just know that I haven't changed my name. My name's still Barney Kunze. And I have my Young Living Farms shirt on that I love so much. And I'm going to just let you guys know that I have Ryan Watson here. He's sitting in the waiting room. I, have the power and control that I could decide whether or not to bring him on, but I think I'll probably bring him on. And we're going to talk about some fun stuff. So first and foremost, I just want to let you know that this last few weeks have been very interesting for a lot of us in the world. And I want to just share real quick. Ryan might talk about this with his own experience, but we're really going to focus on the emotions and strategies that you can use to help keep yourself grounded in some really great things, because he has, from what I understand, just a little bit of experience. And if you're not catching Barney Kunze's mild sarcasm, I'm saying he has a lot of experience with helping people work through challenges that, when not properly resolved, can create more stressful responses or just experiences in life. But recently, I just finished 2 rounds of the Master Cleanse, and I'm down 17.2 pounds, and I feel really great. And I'm using oils, and I've noticed that a lot has changed. And we in that group, we were talking about a lot about the emotions and the mind-body connection and how to use different oils and stuff. And so, but we was really a lot of focus on the physical component of how to support yourself and how to decrease our toxic load. And for most of us that are in Young Living, that are that are using the products, we use them, and there's that mental emotional support that can come with that element, but then there's also the physical part. And so I'm saying all of this because I just went through that, and it's been pretty awesome. And that Ryan, what we're going to be focusing on today is more the mental emotional part. So if you guys have questions, what you can do is you can post them in the and as a comment, and you can also say, hey, I'm tuning in from Timbuktu, or I'm calling in from Alaska, or I'm tuning in from Ontario, Canada. Wherever you're at, it's always kind of fun to know where all y'all are, as apparently the Texans like to say sometimes, right? And you don't have to, but and then the other thing too, I saw, Sabina, you tag somebody. So go ahead and tag somebody, because they'll get notified, and then after this will be available as a replay. So if somebody gets the notification, they come to it late, this same link will be available. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in Ryan, and I'm going to unmute you first, Ryan, and show you in the stream. And you're counting down, and voila, you're there.
That's totally cool. Sorry. That's neat.
Yeah, okay. So you weren't. What do you have there?
Genius.
Nice.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, I learned this from Dr. John DeMartini, and I say this to my girls every night and encourage them to say it, that I'm a genius and I apply my wisdom. And my one daughter, who is our oldest, and she's definitely a red, so she's very right to the point, but she's got to say it. I think she's probably red-green or green-red for her personality. But she counts down, I'm a genius and I apply my wisdom. I'm a genius and I apply my wisdom. And she says it 10 times, and she counts it on both hands. And then she says it, then the second round is, I'm a genius, I'm a genius, I'm a genius, I'm a genius. And so it's just kind of funny, but.
I love it. I love that. That's awesome. I do a lot of affirmations with people. We'll talk a little bit more about those here in just a minute, though.
Yeah.
So, Barney, thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah, no problem. I appreciate you being here. And so let's have a little fun here, and let's pretend that there are people that are on the call that have no idea who you are. I'm just going to presume that everybody knows who I am, but if you don't, I'm just some crazy bald-headed Canadian that's wearing a purple Young Living shirt, and I like to do some work in marketing and technology, and I love essential oils. But now let's hear from you, and just tell us a little bit about your background, who you are, and what you do, because I think that some people might. Well, I know people will watch us that literally have no idea who you are and what you do.
Absolutely. So it's like, wow, he left. He's gone, like right in the middle of the broadcast. So a little bit about. So I wanted to bring a few things. Obviously, I'm just going to show this real quick. Yeah. But if you look on the back, that's me without a beard. I just shaved this the other day, and my wife calls me Benjamin Buttons. But anyway, it's kind of funny. She asks when it's coming back. So it's actually funny because this picture actually goes along with my baby face. It's like, I don't know how to hold that. Well,
you gotta.
Anyway, yeah, that's weird. Let's just put it here. I know where that location is. So anyway, it's backwards on the camera. Sorry, y'all.
It is.
But anyway, so back in 2014, well, let's go back. I got started with Young Living. My name's Ryan Watson. I live in Amarillo, Texas, and I own and operate Watson Psychological Health Center. My day job, I look at a bunch of squiggly lines on a computer. It's the voltage of your brain. What does that tell me? What happens? What's going on with that? So it's really kind of cool. But let's move away from that. That's what I do on the day job. So I use oils. I integrate them into my practice and everything that I do. There's many different ways I integrate them, from tuning forks to emotional release. I've been to CARE twice. The CARE is the Center for Aromatherapy Research and Education that was started by Dr. Stewart. And so all of my upline, I've stayed in touch with them that way, different things like that. But anyway, so I've been through CARE twice. So I kind of have adopted my own emotional release that I've kind of created based upon meridian lines and energy and all that other stuff too, along with what I see in the brain, which is a lot of fun. It's very fascinating because if you would have told me 10 years ago, I could experience your history in your life and kind of where it was at with a tuning fork in the field of your energy, I would have thought that's kind of crazy. That's pretty out there. But, in doing it, it's amazing and it's all there. Where did all this start? It all started with a bottle of Panaway. So my mom has always had supplements in the house. We took our supplements. We ate healthy. She cooked meals. We had our vegetables. We watched our food combinations, which putrefaction, all of that. My parents got a divorce when I was in the 4th grade. But let me preface just before that, because right before that, I had had a major bicycle accident. Now, I was riding my little BMX bike, and I was pedaling as hard as I could, going as fast as I could. And I love to hit the curbs. And when you hit the curb, not like, going in the street onto the curb, but in people's driveways. Back in the days, people had their driveway in the front of their house, and you could pop that little where they built that up to go onto the sidewalk. So I'd go as fast as I could, hit that, try to jump my bike as high as I could, as every good kid, boy, American boy does. Canadians may do that too, Barney. I don't know. But anyway, that's what I did. Well,
definitely do.
Absolutely. See, the adrenaline in all of us, there we go. Looking for a good time. So I was doing that, and I had my cousin with me. And I hit one that was really big, and I don't remember what happened after that. I know he told me I went over my handlebars. I was out cold. Like, I don't remember him carrying me home. I think he thought I was actually dead, but I had a really bad concussion. Okay, now I want to preface that because I'm about to move into a traumatic situation. My parents are getting a divorce, and why that's so important. Because this is going to incorporate with my story with Young Living, why oils were so amazing for me and what got my attention with oils. Because remember, I've used supplements my entire life, but when you go through a major brain injury and then you have trauma in your life, how does that affect you? That's what got me started with oils. Oils got me a result. I'm going to leave that there for compliance issues and compliance talk, which started this. Now, the Miracle of Essential Oils was after this, and so Deborah Rayburn had me come down to Super Saturday 2013-ish, right after 2014, Conroe, Texas, and I met Jason Sapp. Jason and I wrote the Miracle of Essential Oils together, and she wanted me to come down and talk about the brain and kind of what I was doing with oils and what I had learned and what I had seen. I have learned so much more from that time. It's amazing, guys, what these little molecules can do. It's phenomenal. But let me come back because I've got a lot of stories floating right here for a minute. With all of that, growing up, um, I got a pretty, when I go into my past, people are like, oh my gosh, Ryan, that's some heavy stuff. I don't talk about that a lot because a lot of people don't know how to handle it. I've learned to process and really be open with it. But I want to be careful because I don't know who's in the audience today, so I want to be a little sensitive with some of that information. But anyway, lots of abuse in my past. After my mom and dad's divorce, I had some pretty horrific step siblings that kind of got involved in life for a period of time. Divorce is a hard time for people. And I love my mom, love my dad. We have great relationships today. My dad had a little bit of an alcohol problem. And so, without going into all the details and throwing their business out there like that, that's just where I was. I was a little kid trying to make sense of this world. So once they got a divorce, they kind of thought maybe he's got attention and focus issue. He's just having a hard time. He's dealing with life. It's difficult. It's tough. Knowing now what I know, the posterior dominant really brain, the white and the gray matter within those areas, I would have definitely had a different therapeutic approach with me. But, as we did in the 80s, they sent me to a counselor, and I didn't really know what to say. I was 11 at the time. And for a boy, developmentally, it was just a different time. It was kind of weird. I didn't know what to say. And I loved this. I knew this counselor. Like, we had a good relationship, but I just didn't know how to open up. I didn't know what to do. And I was kind of in shell shock from everything. Plus, I didn't realize that after the bike accident, how much that was going to affect me. I was more sensitive to headaches. I didn't really realize all that as a kid. You don't think about that kind of stuff. So moving forward with that, I'd always kind of had a hard time with focus and attention. It was always something that was kind of in the background for me and struggling with and throughout school. So it made it a challenge for learning. So there was oftentimes a difficult time when, I just couldn't quite be completely present. And I didn't really understand all that at the time. As most people, when I talk about emotions, I'm like, it doesn't have to be hard, guys. It's not that big a deal. We can do this. You can. Just going back to what Barney says, my biggest affirmation is I can and I will. You moving forward with grace and ease. That comes from Marcella von Harding. I have to give her credit for that. Young Living has put me in front of some of the most amazing leaders that are out there. And I am so grateful for that because I've taken that stuff, I've used it, and I've run with it. So kind of coming back to this, why did I get to where I'm at today? Why do I sit here and analyze the brain and how you see these oils? You take a bottle of oil, you put it on, and then boom, does it have an impact? Does it actually work? So that was a little bit about why Jason and I created this. We wanted to get a story out there to begin to tell people, hey, there's hope. There is that opportunity for you to really work on your health and wellness, just like Barney's doing with a master cleanse. The biggest thing that I find with people, a master cleanse is phenomenal, but at the same time, when you understand vibrations and harmonics, the more you move up the scale of health and wellness emotionally, the less detox you have to do, because you're going to affect your hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis in such a different way that it's not going to be so much hard work. So basically, there's fundamental principles that certain things can exist in your body at certain vibrations. Let's just put it that way. Trying to be as compliant as I can, guys. So with that being said, today we wanted to kind of bring in some of the emotional stuff and help pull some of this in, and just how do you know where your stress is at? How do you know what you need to do? What is healthy today in America? Because those are some questions that are just huge. But wanting to come back and really tie all this in for you, because there's a lot of tidbits that I'm getting at today. There's just so much to share with you guys. Wanting to be pertinent, wanting to get to the point, and also be respectful of your time. So thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate that. It's good to see some of the comments. That Freedom Collection kit is basically what I got one, actually, and it was phenomenal to be there with Gary on stage and share that time. But that's kind of what began to set the stage back when I had that experience with Panaway, because I had no idea what was going to come from that, which was going to lead me to the grand stage, a grand convention, sitting beside Gary Young and a host of other very amazing individuals. So when I had that experience with Panaway, I didn't remember belief. What do you believe? My sister handed me this bottle. I was grad school, second year, about to get ready for some final exams that you have to go through with all of that. And I could not sit still. I could not sit in a chair long enough to take this test. And so she handed me this bottle of Panaway, and my belief was, remember guys, this was back before essential oils were cool. Okay, great. I've done everything in the book. I've exhausted all my resources. Sure, thank you. I appreciate it. I had no idea what she handed me, much less the price of it at the time. But and she hounded me. I didn't use it. I set it there on the cabinet because remember my belief. What do you believe in? You know, and that's one of the things I tell people. Why do you say these affirmations? Why do you teach these? I know Barney's teaching his kids these because he wants them to truly believe in that, because it's not about just saying something, but it's about the beliefs from the past experiences that you've had, that you've come to believe are true about yourself. Now, perspective and awareness is an amazing thing. May or may not be true. So, you know, we all have that basement, so to speak. You can't see it, the subconscious piece. In my subconscious brain, going back to after the accident, after the divorce, after the trauma, I was building a lot of self-beliefs that it's not okay to feel. I don't want to feel. I want to stay numb. I don't like what I feel when I do feel it, so just stay away from it. It was super easy to get angry. My dad calls me Snuffy for a reason. It still sticks today. Although today, I think most people would say that are around me, I'm very good at handling my emotions, so to speak, and I don't necessarily get those angry, those temper tantrums like I used to. And that's where I'm wanting to go as well today too. But let me set the background of why I did all of this and what I'm doing and why all this is so important. So going back to grad school, I still hadn't had the belief that, you know, is anything going to work for me? And at that point, I just kind of, I was going in a master's in counseling thinking, you know, I want to help the world because honestly, I didn't know how to help myself. And I'm just being transparent with you guys today. Okay. But I didn't want people to go through what I went through, but yet I had no idea of what I was going through. And I know that sounds weird. You're sitting there, you're listening to theories in a classroom about therapy all day, but yet I was disconnected with myself. Even the first couple of years of my career were fairly difficult in the arena. So just being completely transparent with you there. No shame, no resentment, no guilt to that. It just is what it was, you know, and I'm so glad that God and Young Living Essentials and all these things have helped me come to this place. So my sister just kept hounding me. Have you tried that? I haven't. Well, you going to try it? Yeah, maybe. Yeah. She's like, well, just try it. You'll never know if it's not going to work if you don't try it. And so she just kept hounding me. And eventually I tried it. And then she said, well, what'd you notice? I'm like, beneficial for a little while. And she goes, well, did you use more? And I said, no. Why would you want to do that? Well, use it more often. Use it more. And anyway, sorry, my phone is blowing up over here, so I'm trying to stay focused and not be preoccupied. I apologize. So I started using it more often. Guys, that was the shift for me. That was what oils did for me. That was where I began to realize there's stages of emotional healing that we go through. There's stages that these things do for us. There's so much to this. I had to learn what is going on with all of this. It was phenomenal for me, guys. It was dynamic in my journey to self-discovery and what I had to do to learn about myself. Now we're talking 2008-ish. So time frame there. So after that, I had to figure more about this stuff. Now I'm in the counseling field, not the medical field. So I don't have my PhD, but I had a master's degree in educational psychology. I went to Texas Tech University here in good old Lubbock, Texas. And, I've been dabbling with a lot of different things professionally, but I started coming across this stuff where you could look at the brain. And that got my attention. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I wonder how essential oils are going to affect the brain and what you're going to begin to see. And so this is partly where some of this began to come from, guys. And as I would sit there and work with people, I realized I haven't shared this professionally or publicly with people since I started noticing this. So this is brand new stuff for you. That the brain, string theory, chaos theory, that the brain has to reorganize itself. In other words, when one part of the brain may not be talking to the other part of the brain, it's got to compromise and do some stuff in the middle, and there's some things that happen and may lose disconnect in certain areas. What I started noticing was the oils, when I saw these changes in the brain, neuroplasticity, these things, I started going, that doesn't look good. But then one time I mapped it 3 days later after an individual had some of this stuff, and I was going, wow, this is amazing. And so this was a image that was relatively short a period of time. This was the image that I used with Gary Young on the stage at convention. We used 8 hertz slide. Now there's a lot of reasons for 8 hertz. I don't want to go into 8 hertz specifically right now for this. Barney and I are going to be doing a lot of, there's going to be a lot of opportunities for this information, guys. He's going to be walking me through the coaching stuff and getting some of this content out there for you so that we can share some of this with you. Compliant way, of course. But it's amazing the stuff that I've been watching clinically and professionally and seeing this stuff in actual scientific data. And then you put the research with it, and it is truly phenomenal because let's go back to me for a minute, my story and things like that. I'm sitting there going, oh my gosh, I've got to learn more and more. So that started my journey. So I went to care. I got involved with my upline like you wouldn't believe. I started building the business. I'm a silver and with Young Living, but I dove into the data. I wanted to know the details. I wanted to get in the trenches and things of that nature, because for the first time I found something that worked for me, and I had an experience with it that began to change my belief system, which began to, confusion brings clarity. So when you start getting confused, clarity is returning. And that is important because I had a lot of confusion. Because remember, what do you believe? How do you know what you believe? What's true in your world? Your experiences. When you check out after trauma, and Jason goes into a lot of detail, and I talk a lot about trauma in here. When you check out from trauma, you become numb. And it makes emotions feel like they're hard. Guys, they're not hard, okay? They're not. They don't have to be, but we choose to make them be because they're this mysterious thing. That basement down there is not a big deal, okay? I go in there and I work with people all the time on the basement. How do we get that subconscious to line up with the conscious? Because consciously you may think something, but in your heart or the subconscious piece, there's a difference. You think with your mind, but your mind won't think. We'll talk about that later. That's another topic for another time. How do you get those to line up? How do you become balanced in those areas? Because that is so important, because people ask me all the time, how do you learn to love yourself? When you don't have it in that subconscious, in that basement, you won't have it in the conscious. What's that going to happen? What's going to cause that to what's that going to do in life for you? You're going to cause a lot of disbalance and different things going on in your world, okay? So what there is, you're going to have a lot of strife. It's going to be hard to get along. Sorry, my phone just keeps, I don't know what's going on today, but anyway. So there's going to be a lot of anger issues. You're going to have a hard time with relationships. There's going to be a lot of disconnect. People are searching for that connection. How do you connect with others? How do you connect with yourself? That's what I'm getting at. When you connect with yourself, connecting with others is not hard. But I didn't know how to connect with myself. That's what I began to learn through all this whole process. Now I have the science to kind of walk through, which is cool. But guys, the experiential aspect is what's important. Science is great. But I would not trade my knowledge for my experience. Okay. That's what is so important, because that has impacted my life. That has taught me to sit there and listen to people and learn how to have conversations and how to communicate more effectively and how to increase levels of communication. And it all started with a little bottle of oil that I thought was going to be doing this and ended up doing so much more than that. So now I've kind of laid the background there for you a little bit. So let's talk about stress for a minute.
Hey, Ryan.
Yes, sir.
Before you jump in, whoa, that's like up close and personal with Bernie. I was looking at the, hey, look at this real quick. For those of you who don't think I'm really cool and special, this is a joke. Look at, I position it so that when I do lives now, it looks like I have a halo above my head. Right there. See that?
Not an accident.
I have my stand-up, I have my desk in stand-up mode right now.
That's
and I just, the other day I realized that, anyways, totally side note, I didn't want to interrupt you, but I did, so I might as well continue the interruption where we put some oils on there. Peggy asked a question, which I think is good to clarify before we transition off of this, this phase. She said, why did your sister start you with Panaway? Now, from a compliance standpoint, Peggy's in Canada, so she can say the 4-letter P word, that pain and headaches, but in the States, I don't know what you guys can say, but why did your sister start you with Panaway? Are you able to briefly share before you?
Yeah, no, for compliance issues, Peggy, I'm sorry. I would direct you to Cool Azul or one of those that we can talk about that is FDA approved for us in the States. You're just gonna have to read between the lines.
So basically, Panaway, the easiest way to say it is for physical supportive reasons. Right. Okay.
Right.
All right. Well, and
that's why she handed me that.
What's that?
She was brand new at oils as well at the time, and so remember that was a long time ago. But you know, if you know the story of the original name of Panaway, then you'll go right to what I was dealing with.
Right.
But yeah, I think that we have to do that. But you know, I want to be compliant with people. So
you know, and then this is just making the statement that Panaway used to be called Painaway, but the FDA and the FTC didn't like that, so Gary's like, okay, we'll call it Panaway. It just took the eye out. Some people don't even know that. Some of you watching might not even know that. But
yeah,
my clients used to call it when in the gym. They would like that's a liquid bottle of gold. Now there's a really great comment here from Sabina that I'll read out because you might not be able to see the whole thing. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to mute you because my sound comes through your mic again. There, now it's nice and quiet. So Sabina just said, just learned yesterday while looking into the hormones and the pineal that it brings the communication between the two parts of the brain. Inhaling them helps to awaken it more. Very fascinating. I know what you mean. It's so incredible getting to the roots of it. So it gave me a new beginning too, and so great. Thanks for your time. I wrote a book on my experience. Oils gave me my life back. So powerful. So that's pretty cool. But I think that's kind of what I'm sure you'll expand on that. But I wanted to share that little comment because I thought that was pretty cool.
Guys, thanks for the story. You know, so I've had the trauma. I've spoke with Young Living at International Convention twice. So I went through in 2014. I'm right next to Gary, and I've got Tom Reed next to me, and there's a slew of us on the panel. And you know, I just go off on a whole of non-compliant terms, and but it's what I had seen. It's what I noticed with frankincense in the maps. It's what I was starting to see in these things is delta, which is a brain frequency. It's a very low frequency. It's associated with very slow brainwave activity. It's not something I like to see too much, but it's something that happens as you go into sleep. You need delta to come up because when you do sleep studies, in the vigilance model of sleep, there's certain levels we want to see delta in. It gets very geeky. I love geeky. Jim Bob Havergan and I love the geeky stuff. But guys, I explain too much. There's too much of a scientific lesson there to explain delta. But basically, there's delta, alpha, theta, beta, gamma. So gamma is a very high frequency that you don't want to happen too much. And if it does happen too often, you begin to forget things, and memory can diminish a little bit. So, and then delta is going to come up. So we don't want to see that happen. But anyway, I'm talking about all these non-compliant things, and Gary's just like loving it. So I had a great time, and we talked about a lot of stuff. If you were there, maybe you remember. And then compliance hit. The FDA came down right after that. So then I come back to Grapevine. We had a convention at the Gaylord. That's where it was. And so I went from that experience to getting my mic turned off at that presentation. And Young Living was searching through what is compliant, what is not. So guys, I've been through the hard times with compliance, so I take it very serious because it's just what I've been through. But you get me here in the office and it's treatment. And so anything within my my scope of practice is cool. It's legit. It is what it is. And I talk about a lot of things, but as in presentation, I appreciate y'all's comments so much. But I've just, I got to work on my own. I mean, I got my mic shut off. It was like silent, totally silent. So they didn't escort me off stage or anything, but and God bless her heart. I mean, we have a great relationship today. It was actually one of the directors that's still with the company that did it, and we chuckle about it today. She's a lawyer, etc. But anyway. So enough on that. But stress, Barney. Thanks for hopping in there. I haven't been reading the comments, so yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I can just jump back in quick.
Awesome.
And pardon me, Joanne, if you're still on, let me put my halo back on. She made a comment, fellow Canadian and master cleanser there, and made a comment. So that was for Joanne. So I think that from the standpoint now, they have a good foundation that everybody knows who you are, your background, your history. Tell us, I don't know, like something, the simplest thing right now for people that are, without using the C word that's happening in the world.
So let's go into stress where I was about to pick up.
Yeah.
Let me help you with there.
And the oils about the little things that they can do.
Sure. So what I've got here, guys, is this is basically your respirometer. It's basically just anything that you can get at like Target or anything like that. Now, you turn this little bad boy on. Now let's talk about heart rate variability for a minute. HRV. Heart rate variability. When you're relaxed, when you're in a resonance frequency, which means your breath rate is at a certain pace, your heart and brain energetically are connected. So one of the biggest things I talk about is voltage. We're going to talk more about voltage and some other stuff later that I've got coming up. But voltage can be measured. When I do EEGs all day, I'm measuring the voltage of the brain. What's going on with the voltage in the brain? Medical science understands it. We know it's there. The medical world uses it for numerous things. One of the biggest things that you're probably familiar with is the EKG. You've heard it in the hospital rooms, beep, 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 and it just goes flat line. And then they come in, they shock them, they try to bring them back. Well, every organ in your body has voltage. And we can also have a huge scope of how your organs are doing based upon voltage. But one of those organs that I particularly spend a lot of time dealing with is the brain, but also with the heart with biofeedback. So heart rate variability is measuring heart-brain voltage balance. When that becomes balanced, you become into a parasympathetic state. You get out of sympathetic dominance. Sympathetic dominance is high stress. I used to be an EMT, which is an emergency medical technician in the States here in America, in Texas. And so I rode an ambulance. Those folks stay in the beginning, as they're learning to deal with these major accidents and things that they deal with constant sympathetic stress. You're going to age faster. Your body's going to feel older. You're going to have more gray hair, things like that. So you really have to take care of that. You don't want to stay in sympathetic dominance too long. You want to stay in parasympathetic rest, rebuild, rejuvenate. Okay. Now, how do you know when you get into parasympathetic dominance? It's simple. Your pulse rate will tell you. Right now, my O2 sats are at 99. So I've done a lot of lemon juice. I've done some ozone. I put on a lot of oils. I've done a lot of things. You want to keep your O2 sats high. That is great. That's how much oxygen's in the system, the Krebs cycle, et cetera. There's a lot that goes into that. The electron transport chain, that's all scientific data. You want that high. Okay. The higher that is, the better your immune system will do. So let's leave that there. Now, my pulse rate right now, if you can see that, is 73. So what I want to do is I want to breathe into 5, out to 7. I'm going to simply, I used to tell people, hey, grab this oil will work. What I tell people now is, hey, just grab one. What do I have right there? I have purification. So in this resonance frequency breathing, what happens is your heart gets to a 1 hertz rhythm. Most people spend their day in a 2 to 3 hertz rhythm. Well, that doesn't sound like it's much off, but it's the difference between parasympathetic and sympathetic fight or flight. So, for example, I was working with a lady the other day, and I put a device on her. She went home, she slept, and we're watching it. And basically, after everything going on, she's living in a sympathetic state. So, not acceptable, not good. We've got to stop that. That's going to create a lot of fear. Okay, let's just leave it at that for now for compliancy. And so, what I want, I can and I will, and clarity and peace. So, it was the opposite of all of that. So as I'm sitting here now, I'm going to put this back on and remeasure. So I'm going to breathe into 5, out 7. Y'all feel free to do that with me real quick. In. Out. 1. Now, some interesting tidbits. As I've done that, we brought it down to 65. I've trained myself with heart rate variability a lot. Can you think and feel at the same time? That's a question. Now, the same thing is, could I talk and breathe at the same time? So guys, you cannot think and feel at the same time. It doesn't happen. So when you're in your thought world, that pulse is going to be up in the 90s. If you're numb or you're not within the realms of yourself, it's going to be up there in the 90s. When it gets over 100 and it stays over there for a while, now granted there's medical conditions that apply, but I have seen a lot of people, I want to be compliant, regain a lot of heart wellness with simple relaxation and breath, okay? Remember, the heart has electrical frequencies. It also has chemistry. It also has blood flow. It has a lot of that stuff too, but electricity is key. When you learn to understand to balance electrical rhythms in the body, you're going to see your health will change, and it will have an impact on it. And so you want to keep that pulse range in the 60 to 70 range. When it gets up into 80, that's when you're going to start realizing you've got some issues. All of this is also very well outlined in the book. So if you want to learn more about that, I go into a lot of detail in the book about heart rate variability, where you need that to be, what you want to do with that, how does that impact you, what are the ranges in which you want to be. We also have it on Amazon, but hey, please get it from Jason and I ourselves. We make a little bit extra money that way, ParadigmPressShop.com. And that's our publishing.
I wanted to jump in real quick. So that was the question I had, was the book isn't on WatsonPhD.com.
No,
not
actually,
yet.
No, not yet.
But you said it was on Paradigm Press. I'll put it in here.
Yes, that's Jason's and I website together, ParadigmPressShop.com. Okay. So there's 3 S's there, ParadigmPressShop.com.
All right, hopefully I spelled it right.
It's also on Amazon. Yeah, we'll definitely get it out to you quicker than they will. So,
okay.
And we don't have to pay royalty fees, and it's a little cheaper on our site as well.
Yeah, no, that's good. Now, just to clarify something, you're saying pulse. So to clarify, you're referring to, like, when you say the pulse, that's the beats per minute.
Beats per minute.
Pulse rate.
So, like, if you exercise, Barney, what are you trying to get your heart rate? Oh man, I lost. There you are. Good exercise. What are you trying to get your heart rate up to?
Yeah.
120 beats per minute for a little while.
Yeah, I just kind of keep an eye on it. I haven't made it a habit to use the heart rate BPM but I will use it to kind of check it every once in a while. You just want to get it elevated above resting. And so just want to I just wanted to clarify, because we say pulse rate, that's BPM or beats per minute, which is good. And then the other thing is, right, Yvonne is on here. Nice to see you on here, Yvonne. Different day, different platform. Yesterday, she's in the Master Cleanse group, and she's asking, the breath work, to clarify, Ryan, is in through the nose and out through the mouth, correct?
Yvonne, there's a lot of different breath work theories out there, but simplicity, it doesn't matter to me. The number is what's important. There's so many different techniques and theories. I don't want to dive into the details of breath work, Just whatever feels comfortable for you in the beginning. You may notice that in the nose, out the mouth works better. It's more efficient. For other people, it's in the nose, out of the nose. Now, if I'm using it with oils and I'm doing it this way, of course, I want to go in the nose, out the mouth, obviously, for those reasons. So yes, but
Yeah.
I'm not one of those that, hey, you've got to do it this way or it's not going to work anymore. Because really, what it really comes down to me is belief. Why are you doing it? Are you doing it because this guy said to? Are you doing it because you really are starting to develop that belief system that you can and you will be able to move forward with yourself with specificity in the area that you're choosing to with intention?
Agreed. And I would say from my 20 years of being an exercise coach, Yvonne, I would say agree with Ryan and also say that the most optimal way, without worrying about it. I know you're not worrying, you're just asking a great question, but this is, I think, a really powerful point, Ryan, that it doesn't have to be, it's not black or white. It's just, what I've learned is that the optimal way to breath for the majority of human beings is in through the nose, out through the mouth. And I took a 9-hour workshop on that and on breathing. And I think that from an oral standpoint, it makes, the only time that I feel like I go in through the mouth is if I take a bottle of peppermint and I go like, I'll take it like this and I'll go, and I'll breathe it in through the mouth. But other than that, because it gets in fast and nice to my throat and my lungs, but just what you're talking about with the effects on the brain, you're in through the nose and out through the mouth. But I'll let you keep going because I don't want to steal your thunder at all.
Yeah, no, I just read the post. Beats per minute. I don't know. I'm sorry, I may mispronounce your name. AMINA. Maybe Barney clarified a little bit for you. Is that blood pressure or pulse rate? If that's blood pressure, that's different conversation.
This comment,
Miss Hagen.
You're talking about this comment right here, Ryan? The one from
yes, that one right there.
Well, she's saying there that it's heart rate shooting at 200 and above.
I do work with people via the phone. So at that level, please call me. And I will be more than happy, because that's a whole nother topic. I mean, when we're talking 110s, 120s, that's high. Okay. But when you get to that area, if it truly is in that area, that's a whole nother set of issues that needs to be addressed. And that's beyond the scope of this conversation right here.
Yeah. So I would say this and offer this to you, Amina, and everybody and anybody else who listens to this live and as a replay. The best rule of thumb that I had as a holistic health practitioner, personal trainer, exercise coach is, if in doubt, the phone comes out. You go to watsonphc.com and call Ryan. You can ask him, because I mean, I think in a nutshell, there's definitely, that there's something going on there for sure, especially if it's that high. If it sounds like there's something going on.
And on that note too, I'm going to be doing blood test coaching as well. How do you know what test you need? What do you need to know about your MCVs, your TSH, a general education, so that stuff like that can also be addressed? Because one thing that I've learned is people, they go get all this stuff done, but then they don't know what it means. And a lot of people want to try to have a better understanding of their own health and their own chemistry. So I also put together the voltage, because you want those two to kind of combine. Now, it's not a treatment. It is simply education, but it's a fascinating thing. And for a lot of people in Texas, we can get our own blood work done. You don't have to have a physician's order, things like that. But that's a different topic, different combination, but it's something that's coming. So if you hear this in the replay and you're interested about it, I've just moved my office. I'm now right on I-40 West, so I'm no longer at the MediPark address, but my phone number should stay the same, 806-418-8900. And I will be happy to include you guys in the coaching program, all that good stuff. Barney's working on me. He is phenomenal, guys. If you've ever needed anything on that end of it, Barney's like top notch. Like even this Facebook Live thing, I'm like, wow, this is even really cool. Didn't even know this was existing. He's phenomenal. Not that Barney's paying me to say that. It's just I'm excited to see what's going to happen.
I have $20 Canadian, or otherwise known as $1 American.
That's cool. That's cool.
Now, can I ask a question for Yvonne?
Yes.
There was a question, and let me take this off here. That was the joke. If you guys didn't get that, $20 Canadian, this is real money. I had it. It's the exchange rate is about 30%, which legit means that this $20 Canadian is about $14 American, is about the 30% equates to.
I totally didn't get it. I didn't know.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes my mild sarcasm just goes right through and people miss out on it. Yvonne,
well, and I turned my speakers down so we didn't get the feedback too.
Okay. So Yvonne's asking, I have one of those devices from HeartMath, the M-Wave. Is there an oil or number of oils, I think it was a bit of a typo, that I can use with it to enhance the practice?
You know, Yvonne, if you go back and you look at most of your emotional oils, I'll flash this up on the screen just so you can see for a minute. I don't go in. Sure. Do I use certain oils for balancing? Do I use certain oils for certain things? I do. Here's the biggest thing. When you put your belief together, the oil, sure, there's a lot of different constituents. You know, you've got monoterpenes, sesquiterpenes, phenols, aldehyds, esters, all of that in the oils. But I tell you what, here's the thing. Go to those emotional oils, use them, okay? If you're fairly numb, you know, or you have a lot of trauma in your world, you have a lot of emotional stuff that you're not comfortable with, stay away from Trauma Life in the beginning, use lavender. I'm going to be doing some more stuff on that with time. Where do you start with that? Trauma Life is a phenomenal one. But guys, in other words, to walk through your healing, you've got to walk through your past. And a lot of people just think, oh, I can put on an oil, everything's going to be better. And I'm going, no, not quite. But there's ways in which you can do it that aren't hard. It's not difficult. Your body will give you so many signs and signals if you'll just learn to interpret them and understand what they mean. It's amazing how God has created his creation. Phenomenal. So I've just tried to take it and make it simple, applicable, and easy. So no, just grab lemon, grab lavender, release if you would like, or whatever you feel gravitated. I like Valor. I use Valor a lot. So another little simple technique I use with people, I would put it on the wrist and balance it just like that. You know, where did I get that? I got that from the raindrop. What does the raindrop start with? You take Valor and you balance it on the shoulders and on the feet. And you do it at the shoulders, and you have one person up top and you have one person down below. So what I learned energetically is you could kind of do it the same way right here on yourself. Another point, and I'll talk more about the points later, but there's some points on the body for emotional release that you can use with the oils. You can also use tuning forks, vibrational raindrop, things like that. And guys, it opens up a whole new arena. It takes the edge off of it, and you're just like, wow, why was that such a big deal? It's fairly simple now. But anyway, stay tuned for some of that stuff to come up as well.
Yeah, that's cool. That's good. So I think that was definitely a great answer for Yvonne. And then she also said as a follow-up, just saying that's why I asked, because I hear so many things. But jokingly, I think Ryan and I can both agree on the fact that when a client, when I'm in the gym, they're like, oh, wait. Is it exhale? Or when I'm like this? And typically in exercise, there's a general rule that's been taught, because I think it's a lazy approach, where it's usually exhale on exertion and then inhale the reverse, but it actually is different depending on what exercise you're doing, whether you're firing an extensor or a flexor muscle in the body. But in a nutshell, I would always jokingly, the point here is, I'm like, if you're in doubt, just breathe. But when you're with me, then I'll coach you to breathe the proper way. But I just thought wanted to point that out for Yvonne.
Barney, that's brilliant. A lot of people don't connect this, but fight or flight actually deals with those flexors and extensors, because that's how you get your body's voltage. So when you're in parasympathetic or sympathetic, you're going to have certain muscle stressors or certain muscle tension within the body. And it's always phenomenal when you can equate all of this information to, okay, so breathing is going to help that flexor or extensor. Okay, which muscle is tight, going into the tightness, the tension. So EMG, electromyography, that's biofeedback. I look at EEG, electroencephalography. So when I look at the EMG, I'm looking at, okay, what muscles in the body are tight? What do we need to learn to relax? How do we do that? what's going on with the body. So flexors and extensors are huge. So that's part of that breathing, and also how you can manage stress and tension.
Cool. Well, so while we're on this, because I think this is actually, it's pretty simple, but let me know what your thoughts are from your experience in the work that you do. So typically, little breathing lesson, mini 101. Anytime you activate and engage a flexor muscle, this is how I teach it and summarize my 9-hour breathing workshop. Anytime you engage a flexor muscle, so that the pecs, the biceps, the forearms, the rectus Chuck Norris muscles here in the front, and if you engage and you go into the fetal position, that's an exhale, okay? Because exhalation brings you into the fetal position, into flexion. So like that. And when you go into extension out of the fetal position like this, that's when you're exciting the erector muscles or the extensor muscles that bring you out of the fetal position. And that's when you inhale through the nose. And then so you see people that they breathe and they'll do, a shoulder press is a very classic exercise that people screw up all the time. They'll exhale like this, right? So they exhale and then they cause depression in the, like this, but they're exerting up, and then they get tension and trigger points in the back. And then, it's just not cool. But that's the quick. So from in your work, that's from Barney Kunze's world and the corrective exercise world, is that, I'm judging by the nodding of your head, your agreeance, but can you elaborate on that from your perspective, from the brain side?
Yeah. So that's why with yoga, with meditation, so many different of those poses, that's designed to kind of help those muscles as well. We could talk a ton on this topic right there, but a lot of those muscles have memory. Now, I don't want to go too far down the muscle memory track, but as you start working through some of this stuff, certain parts of your body may start to experience different things. If you'll sit with that, if you'll allow yourself to have a little bit of peace with that, to sit with that, you'll begin to experience the emotion that's trapped, because each cell of your body has 6 trillion, basically, megabytes of information that it can hold. So where did I get that? I got that from Dr. Stewart's book, and it's phenomenal. But remember, every emotion can get stored. Some can get stored in muscle. Some can get stored in organs themselves in different places within the body, because it's not all stored in the brain. So just a side note on that. So, I'll have people do some different poses throughout the office, and they'll start telling me they don't like this situation. But one that I love, is what you just did, arms out, because with sympathetic, think about what a baby does when they cry and when they're stressed, and think about what you do when you defend yourself. You curl up. That's going to create a lot of muscle tension and tightness. So brilliant.
Mm-hmm. And if you are standing or seated, right, it's good to get up and do this. That's why I love my standing desk. I haven't got it on wheels yet, but I can electronically put it up and down. But I'll take an oil and then I'll do this if I'm on a call. So sometimes people might wonder, Ryan and I were talking, and maybe he was like, what are you doing over there? He didn't actually, but I've had clients ask me this. So I would have my headphones on, and I'll put my arms up like this, and then I'll take it and bring my elbow to my knee, or even just nice and slow, just like that. So you can breathe in an oil and just put your arms up like this. And it's actually considered a power pose, but also like kind of like, I surrender, like hands up. But it's a really grounding, I found it's a really grounding position, and it's just good to breathe in the oils, and it helps to open up the lungs a little bit, and it's fun. So if anybody questions you and says, what the heck are you doing, you can blame it on Barney Kunze, the bald-headed Canadian. Yeah.
That's good stuff.
So I know that we're getting close to the hour here, and I feel like sometimes when we do these calls, we're just getting warmed up at the hour, but I don't think this will be the last time that we're going to do this. Because I want to share a couple more things about some of the elements that you're working on, so people are interested, and then we'll get to the closing words of wisdom from Ryan Watson, or like the golden nuggets that you can leave people with, everybody today. But if they want to follow up with you in regards to, like, Amina, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, let's say that she wanted to call you up, or a friend, maybe you're listening and you as in the listeners, not Ryan Watson, but people are listening and thinking, hey, something really clicked with me, and my mom, my dad, my uncle, my brother, my coworker, my team member is really struggling and needs some help. And if you guys didn't see this earlier, by the way, Dr. Jessica Dietrich Marsh, who was on one of our last calls, I want to read this to you and then think about it. So when in doubt, the phone comes out. The number on the other end should be Ryan Watson, I think. But Dr. Jessica Dietrich Marsh, who is really amazing, said all emotions, and another fellow summit presenter, all emotions have a vibration. All diseases have a vibration. The body has a vibration. When vibrations match, either healing or chaos begins. Ryan is a master with this, and who I call when I'm stumped. So thrilled to see him here. So thanks for stopping by the way, Jessica. And I wanted to put that out there because I just think it's important that, with this community that we have within Young Living, and then like a little mini sub-community within the Wild Success Summit, is that this year is going to be the 6th year that we've put this thing on. And I just think that it's going to be really helpful for those that have questions to not feel like, okay, this is, if you want to talk to Ryan, go to his website, watsonphc.com. And to confirm, Ryan, are they able to email? I'm trying to find it.
They can.
They find your email.
I have 2 emails on there, info@watsonphc, and then ryan.k.watson@hotmail.com. I know it's a corny Hotmail account, but I've had it forever, and a lot of people know it's all on a lot of contracts, so I keep it. Yeah, absolutely. Feel free. My phone number's on the website. My secretary will answer the phone for you, and she can get you scheduled in a time or whatever you need done, and we'll get rocking with you and help you get moving in the direction you're looking forward to go to.
Cool. And then the book that you can go to your paradigmpressshop.com right now. The Miracle of Essential Oils, which is pretty awesome. And then so we didn't talk about that.
It's 14 hours.
Where can people get that?
This is with Growing Healthy Homes.
Okay.
So, sorry, I'm like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
Growing Healthy Homes right there. They're a huge publishing company, Max and Karen Hopkins. They've got that.
Okay. Cool.
And I'm going to be looking at getting some more publications out with time, guys. Just there's not enough time in the day for us all.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's great. And we'll definitely have you back on again, because we kind of got out of sync for a while. We, as in Barney Quincy and the Wild Success Summit team. But I'd like to try and do these weekly again with just doing, it's great to get on here and just talk shop. So you guys can go ahead and tag your friends, your team members. You can share this after. It'll be up on YouTube. Go back and as Ryan said, you can go to paradigmpressshop.com and then buy the book, and it's more beneficial for them instead of getting it from Amazon. But either way, you can still get the book. And then the other thing, so there's that. And then if you guys are interested, one of my gifts that I realize is that I may not be an expert in, a lot of areas, but there's a few that I'm really good at doing this. Good in a lot of, there's not a wide scope, but there's a very few that I'm very good at. And one of them is helping people like Ryan get their message out there. That's why I'm not like I'm just focused on just building my team. This has been really building the summit. In fact, the summit really has been a massive distraction for me building my team. But what's in my heart to really build and grow and share is helping people who are needing to hear what Ryan has to say. So I'm going to be helping him just get his message out there. So if you guys want to learn more from him, go to his website, send him an email, and blow up his email inbox and say, yes, I'm interested. Put me on your newsletter list or something, because as he gets more established online, in this whole situation with COVID that's happening in the world, it has been a massive wake-up call for those of us in Young Living that are building our business and seeing how the products and the business opportunity that we have with Young Living is a phenomenal answer to help support people who are looking for multiple streams of income, or just who need support on a physical level. And then knowing that when in doubt, the phone comes out, and hopefully, you call Ryan Watson if you have questions. I just want to kind of bring that up. He didn't ask me to say that, but I wanted to share that to know that you guys have that resource. And I think that was all I was going to say. And then can you give us some final words of wisdom here on, the emotions, oils, and some of your work as we finish off?
Release and receive. believe. When I say release and receive, guys, we're all constantly learning together. We're all constantly doing things every day. We learn from those experiences. Be careful how you translate those to yourself and believe. And, one of the things that I tell myself, I can and I will. I can do, I will do, put in the blanks, work through some specificity, imagination creation, imagination activation. Use your imagination for so many ways to move yourself forward in whatever you feel like that roadblock is there or not, whatever, how you're choosing to move forward with yourself. See that you can and will, and don't be afraid to get outside the box, guys. I mean, I am not your theoretical therapist that says, hey, let's talk about your feelings. We're going to move some things. We're going to shift some energy. We're going to get some things going. And Dr. Jessica, thank you so much for that. It's people like her believing in, they've seen the results with what I've done with people. And so, but it all comes back to, I'm only one person. It comes you believing with you that you can and you will, and then you do. And it's that, it really, that's the equation, guys. And so, that's all I got.
Okay.
Thanks for. Well, I noticed some of you had mentioned, hey, you've got the books at convention. Jason and I have been at convention every year. Thank you all for your support. We truly appreciate it. We really do. Thank you so much.
That's cool. And that's not all you've got. That's all you've got for today. Right. But
Marty, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. One last thing. So guys, if you're still on live, what I would love for you to do, because we can come back and do this after, Ryan, I said to him, him and I talked and about a couple things, we like to be able to come on here, but he and I have been talking about him doing like a mini 2-hour focus training. Is it okay if I say this?
Yeah, no, I was just looking at my wife's comment down there, Barney. She's a class clown. She's hilarious. She's funny. Love her. Hey, Ryan, you're so cute. Take your shirt off. So, hey, there's always that one. I got a quarantine haircut the other day, y'all. How'd she do? I was like, in Texas, we can't get our haircuts. It's kind of underground. So
that's awesome.
Anyway, I'm like, hey, thanks, hon.
Hey,
she didn't carve a bar in the back of my head or anything.
I didn't see that, but hey, as soon as it goes off live, then go. I mean, you still could if you want to, but
no, sorry to interrupt. Yeah, absolutely. Please share away, Barney.
Okay,
no
problem. Luana, I think if I'm pronouncing your Luana or Luana, said it would be great to hear. It would be nice to hear from you, and a couple other people said the same thing. So I think that if you guys are feeling the same way I am, where I'm kind of like, you just kind of get warmed up and know who Ryan is, what he does, and what he can do. If you guys are interested in doing a little mini training with Ryan for a very, very nominal amount, him and I've talked about like what topic, what you guys are looking for. So even if you're watching this after as a replay, or if you're on live, just put yes, I'm interested, and then do ... about this or about that or whatever, just because then we can come back. Because Ryan knows a lot and can share. It's just that when you're, and I'm saying this humbly for you, not just because you're on here, Ryan, but it is the truth. When you're smart as Ryan and you learn a lot about this stuff, the challenge can be, where do I start? What do people need most? So if you guys are interested, I can help facilitate that. It's going to be on Ryan's thing. I just, I see this community that we have with the Wild Success Summit as part of like, Barney, this is my life purpose. Like literally me being on here right now is helping me fulfill my life purpose that became very clear on April the 23rd, 2010 at 2 a.m. I was at a traditional native healing circle, and it became very clear that part of Barney Quincy's role on planet Earth is to help educate, reach, and teach and impact millions and millions of people. And me being able to be on here right now is part of that. So I want to say thank you to y'all, as they say in Texas. And then to Ryan for jumping on here and empowering you guys. And if you are interested, just again, put yes, I'm interested, and put the topic down, because then Ryan can put something together. It's just like going to the restaurant and saying, hey, I'm hungry. And, then throwing the menu jokingly at the chef. But you say, hey, I'm hungry. I want to have a blankety blank, blank, blank with a side of blank and a cup of blank. Well, then they can go back to the kitchen and cook up all that blank for you. And I'm trying to keep this fun and playful here. So, but yeah, so we'll go back and look at it, and I think we'll wrap it up here. I would like to say that if you guys think we did a good job, as in Ryan and Barney, please let us know, and then our bosses will hear this and we might get a raise. But if you think we didn't do a good job, just keep your opinions to yourself and then we're all going to have a great day.
Barney, thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
Guys, thanks for being here.
Yeah, no problem. It was great. Thanks for being here, guys. And again, stay blessed, stay grateful, stay humble, and stay hungry. Or if you're on the master cleanse, stay thirsty and go make yourself some lemonade.
I'm going to do the same.
All right. Sounds good. See you guys.